Hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the Practical Life. This is Ashley Nicole, and we are here today with another live. What time is it? Good afternoon. I hope your afternoon is going well. Um, I came on, I plan to do, y'all gonna laugh at me. I planned to do a live last night, but I was like, no, I had some stuff to do. So I had posted something that I was thinking about related to Miss Robbie and Upper Crust closing. So I hope you all enjoyed that as well. I hope you enjoyed the visual because it's really a visual just to get us to think real deep about what has been lost with her and that family. But today I'm coming to you all with something a little bit different, right? And I know that like this channel, of course, is all about mental health. This is where you can get your questions answered for yourself or someone else. This channel is also about career strategies and how to kind of get yourself to the next level, especially if you're trying to figure out how to manage your mental health in the workplace, whether that be you're self-employed, you're an entrepreneur, or you work in a corporate environment, right? So if you need any information on that, all of that will be in the description box. But today I'm coming to you all regarding this YouTube drama that I came across, right? And I think the one that I came across, because it's a lot of YouTube drama, y'all. Like it seems like there's like different sectors. And I ain't gonna lie, I've been watching YouTube for a long time. Right. I think I first started watching probably, when I first went natural, which was around like 2010, I think. Um, and I started watching natural hair videos and how to, deep condition. And that's when, going natural was a little bit more popular and things like that. So you could find people, how to grow your hair if you had a relaxer, or how to grow your hair if you were natural, and all this stuff, TWAs and all that stuff. So I have been watching YouTube kind of on and off since that time. And the more you watch it, right, the more you will see that there are these different sectors within YouTube, right? And some things based on what you're watching, YouTube's going to recommend these videos to you, right? Or based on who you're watching. And so I came across, I think it was it yesterday, this YouTube drama, and y'all, I couldn't, I couldn't believe what I was hearing and seeing. Now, this did the what I saw was from, I think her name is Strong Mommy Chrissy, and I'll be honest, I've never watched her or anything like that. And she has some drama with what is her name? My Jazzy Life, and I've never watched them either. The only person that I will say that I have watched before was and I think she's Strong Mommy Chrissy's friend, and that is Ming. I used to love watching Ming, y'all, because she used to, and this was like way back, right? And I think at the time her husband may have been in the military or something like that. But she has the cutest little girls. Like her family is a beautiful family. And I used to watch her. She used to do these pranks, and she looked like a young mom that was trying to figure it out, right? And trying to make it. And it was just, it was good to watch her growth, right? And she's come a long way, and she's doing, it seems like her and her family are doing very well. But I think she is Strong Mommy Chrissy's friend, but I had never seen any videos about Strong Mommy Chrissy, right? And then there's My Jazzy Life. I had never seen any videos, any of her videos. And so it looks like they kind of got into a little a little argument, or they were arguing back and forth on YouTube. And not only YouTube, but I believe it was social media. Now, I don't know what was said on other platforms. I just watched YouTube, right? But some of the stuff I couldn't believe I was hearing. And I thought that I would come this is just my opinion based on what I saw and what I heard. But I'm going to give you all a perspective from a therapist, right? And some of the times, these are some of the clients that I'm seeing, right, who have trouble with friendships, who have had challenges with friendships, who have had challenges with relationships, who have had challenges with adjusting to motherhood. um, I've also been in a certain work sector where, trying to help moms get their kids back, kind of advocating for them and supporting them and trying to follow the plan that they have been given by a judge or by the court or by family agencies to say, hey, this is what you need to do, XYZ, in order to get your kids back. And then they are assigned a therapist, right? In some of the cases. And so I've kind of been in that sector as well. So I'm just going to give my opinion based on my experience, right? But I really wanted to focus this video on, because then I found out I ain't gonna lie, I thought that there's another one. I think her name is Olivia. Um, I thought, and this video is only focused on those three: Strong Mommy Chrissy, My Jazzy Life, and Olivia. Yeah, I think her name was Olivia. I thought that they were in their like 20s. I don't know, are they? But then I heard something, and during the lives and stuff like that, is that they are in their early 30s. And then I said, what? I was like, they can't be in their early 30s. Because, in my opinion, when you get to your 30s, kind of inching up to that, when you inching up to your 30s, maybe 27, 28, 29, you inching up to your 30s, you start to become a different type of person. Some of the things that you were doing in your early 20s, some of the things you might have been doing in high school, you're not doing those things anymore, right? You start to have a different perspective on life. So I wanted to focus this video on the lessons learned, or the lessons that you should be trying to learn when you are in your 30s. And especially if you are a woman who has children. And again, this is just my opinion. So that's one of the reasons why I'm reacting to this. And I got my notes, y'all, because when I say this is some drama, this is some drama, y'all. So, but hear me out. So one of the reasons why I'm reacting is because I didn't know that they were in their 30s. I really thought that these women were kind of in their 20s, middle 20s, right? And I rarely see this when I have clients. I rarely see women in their 30s kind of going through this with people that they used to associate with, or people they used to call friends, right? It may be now you may have some social challenges, but nothing like this. Now for me, I consider myself an old millennial. Now I'm and I hate to use the word old, but that's the only way I can explain it. Like, I'm closer to Generation X, because I think millennials, the tail end of them, they're closer to 40. They're about to be 40, 41, right? So I'm in that range. So these women, though, appear to be, seems like they're young millennials, right? So they may have a different perspective or a different viewpoint about life and things like that. So I just want to point that out now, because we know that there are differences between generations in how we handle things, how we view things, how we cope with things, right? Even when it comes to having different morals, values, and things like that, each generation is different. So just wanted to point that out. Now, keep this in mind too. 90%, because I saw a lot of lives where people had questions like, why would you address this? Why would you, why are they doing this? Why is she talking like this? Why is she, why are they going back and forth? 90% of people, y'all, can fall into 4 personality categories, right? The first one is an optimistic person. The second personality type would be a pessimistic person, someone that's has a negative outlook on many things. That's maybe cynical most of the time, things like that, right? The third personality trait, right, is a trusting person. And the fourth one is an envious personality type. So 90% of people fall within one of those. So now you you put them where you feel like they need to go. But this is 90% of people in general, right? Now, let's get into the lessons learned. Now, disclaimer again, this is just my opinion. This is for education purposes only because I am a licensed therapist. I'm giving my opinion based on my experience, my expertise, and my knowledge in that area. So, just want to make sure that that gets out there. I won't be using any images or anything like that. I don't feel that that's necessary. You can go look at the videos on your own if you want if you want to see it, baby, because it yeah. So, lessons learned in your 30s, especially if you have children, because from my understanding, all three of them have children. Now, oh, let me say this. Let me say this. Now, I had never, like I told you, I only watched Mean, right? And at the time I was watching her, she only had the one little girl, I think her first little girl. And Sharmari Chrissy, though, like I said, I never had was recommended her videos. But since I was watching me, YouTube has changed a lot. The algorithm changed, recommendations changed, stuff like that, right? So that's probably why I wasn't seeing her videos come up then when I was watching me. But Sharmari Chrissy has 9 children, right? Now, she's in her early 30s or is about to be 30 or something like that. And on the one hand, somebody could say, oh my gosh, this girl has 9 children. Well, she got so many kids and this, and this, right? But then on the other hand, you can look at her situation from a different perspective because for her to have 9 children and for her to not be working for anybody, to be working for herself basically, because it looks like she makes her money through social media, right? Um, you gotta give it to her. You do, because I only got 2. And baby, when I tell you, it's times when I'm like, where am I gonna find the time? Where am I gonna find? I honestly don't see how she does it. And she must be doing something because guess what? Now it looks like the majority of like her kids live with her. And she's not, from my understanding, I could be wrong, she's not married or anything like that because she mentioned something about dating and going on dates and having her own time, away from the kids. Girl, I need some tips from Strong Mommy Chrissy because I can't find the time. I'll be like, okay, let me write down what I got to do. Now, I will say, if you have 9 kids, even if you aren't a person that's organized or knows how to prioritize, like it's like having 9 kids will make you that way, right? Because if not, your household gonna fall apart, right? And it looks like they have a place to live. It looks like they have a place to live. It looks like the kids are eating. She makes these cooking videos, right? She has these or what she made her kids for lunch. I saw something like that. So for somebody that has 9 kids, you have got to give it to her. Y'all don't know. I have seen a lot of moms in the foster care, their kids going through the foster care system, their kids being taken away from them, you know, just moms that don't even have 9 kids. They might only have 1 and they can't get it together. They cannot get it together to save their life. The few videos that I've seen of Strong Mommy Chrissy, she comes on that camera, baby. She got that makeup on, baby. She got that. Even if it's a little wig, she got a little wig on. You know what I mean? So even like it doesn't seem like she is, even though she might be falling apart, she doesn't present that way. You see what I'm saying? And this is only from what I've seen. But I have to say, I have to give it to her because baby, with 9 kids, I don't see how you do it, Strong Mommy Chrissy. Uh, you got to give the tips because like I said, I have two, and I'm be trying to figure out how am I gonna do all of this? Like it is a lot, and let alone she doing it. It looks like on her own. So I just want to get that out there. Now the other one, and y'all forgive me if I'm saying the other one and things like that. I'm trying to get it right. It's so much in my brain. I'm trying to get it get it together, right? My jazzy life. I don't know how many kids she has, but it looks like her kids are with her. She has her own place. You know, her kids have somewhere to lay their head. She has transportation. You know, she mentioned something about making her kids lunch every day. Child, I don't even make no lunch. I don't make lunch. No, you're going to eat at school with your friends. You're going to eat the same things that your friends are eating. Now, I've tried the making lunch and all this stuff before, and I found, you know, that my kids, they play around, they don't eat it, this, and this. You got to make sure that, you know, certain schools have certain rules, you know, you can't bring, anything that needs to be warmed up, all kind of stuff, right? And, you know, you as a mom try to make your life a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have to make lunch, then okay, you change your perspective, change the viewpoint. Okay, when you go to school, you know, everybody's eating the same lunch, right? And you are enjoying lunch with your friends. You guys are eating the same things, you know. So I don't even make lunch every day. So kudos to her, honey, because you making lunch every day and it looks like she has more than two. So again, y'all got to get the tips. um, so yeah, now the other one, Olivia, I would say I really feel it looks like she has lost her kids. You know, she doesn't have custody of her kids right now. And I can't even imagine. I don't even know the circumstances about that. Like I said, I had never seen any videos regarding her or know the whole situation or anything like that. It just looked like she doesn't have her children with her. And so I I can imagine the mind frame of someone who's a mother that does not have their children in their presence every day, every minute, every hour, right? And some of the things that you may have when your kids were in your presence may have gotten, you know, because as moms, we get annoyed, we get frustrated, we get tired, we get overwhelmed, right? It's like, oh man, now I got to do this and do that. Those things now, when your kids are not in your presence, it's like you took those things for granted, you know, and then you start thinking, I should have spent more time with them, you know, I shouldn't have complained when I did this or that or whatever. So the mind frame that Olivia has to be in, I can't even imagine. She may not be showing it on this camera, but I just can't. I can see if this lady is falling apart. You know what I mean? So yeah. Now, so let's get to the now that I got that out the way, let's get to the lessons learned in your 30s, especially if you have had children. First thing, friendships. When you in your 30s, right, you start to realize that everybody not your friend. Everybody is not your friend, right? You become a little bit more selective about the people that hang around you. You become a little bit more selective about who come into your house. Child, I might have a few friends, but guess what? And this goes not only for me, but my friends too, right? Because it's the understanding. It may be only a few times that you've been in my house, right? It may be, and in the chat, let me know if y'all feel what I'm saying, right? Because you know everybody is not your friend. You become more selective. Your circle gets smaller, right? It's not like high school where everybody your friend. It's not like college where you meet all these people and everybody hanging out. You got a lot of associates, right? I feel like in college you start to say, okay, well, yeah, these my friends, but then I got a lot of associates, things like that. But baby, when you get into your 30s, your early 30s, it's like you might only have two people in that circle. Your circle becomes smaller, right? And in that same vein, you start to understand that everybody is not for you. And that's why now you only have one or two people that you call your friend, right? Because friends, they don't turn their back on each other. Friends, they gonna ride with you till the wheels fall off. That means something, it's almost like when you go to Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It don't matter. Even if y'all do fall out, they not getting ready to run to not nan person to tell them what you done did, what you done said, how you said it, none of that, because they really your friend. You see what I'm saying? And they know that if y'all do fall out, it's just gonna take a little bit of time. Y'all gonna get right back. Y'all gonna get right back. So when you in your 30s as a woman, especially if you have children, you start to understand that everybody is not your friend and you become more selective. The second thing is this: your finances, right? By the time you in your early 30s, your credit score should be on point. Especially, you should have good credit. Especially with all the information that you have now of why your credit should be good, the benefits of having good credit, the lower interest rates you can have. Like, you understand that whole thing, right? You understand how it could benefit you and your kids in the long run if you have your credit in order. You, in my opinion, in your 30s, you shouldn't be scrambling around trying to figure out or paying more money out your pocket just because you don't have good credit. It's so many different ways and so many different resources that you could get and follow through with, so to make sure that your credit is good. So by the time you in your 30s, your finances, the way you think about finances should have changed by then, right? In your high school and in college and your 20s, baby, you was giving it out. You was going to the mall knowing you ain't got no money. You was getting credit cards. I remember when I first started college, it could have been, I didn't even start classes yet. If anybody, has been to college, in the summer, you go for your little visit, see how the school is, you go for a little orientation, things like that, right? And I went to a historically Black college, university. And when you go, they talk to you, they do a little orientation, what to expect. They talk to your parents. And baby, they say, oh, you could go to the bookstore and get your books before school start. Now, this is before you get your refund check. And mind you, for myself, when I went to college, I had a full ride. So I didn't have to pay for books or anything like that. However, right, not knowing, not understanding credit, not having that teaching, right? Not having the proper teaching about that, about finances and stuff like that. I went to the bookstore and they said, oh, yeah, you can get your books now. Okay, but you don't have the funds now, right? And books probably at that time, shoot, I can't even imagine how much books cost now, but books, probably maybe like 500, maybe a little bit more than that, right? And so to get my books, baby, them credit card people was right there. You hear me? Here, fill this out. All you gotta do is fill this out. You can get your books right away, right? And so that's what many kids did because they wanted their books. And they knew they had to get their books, not knowing, especially as a freshman, not knowing when you were gonna get your refund check. And baby, if you're talking about a historically Black university, you don't know what day you finna get your money. You don't know what day, you don't even know if you're gonna get your money. Okay. So you got to figure out how to get your books so you can go to class. So many students did that. But by the time you get to your 30s, having all of that information, knowing how you grew up and stuff like that, you should be, especially if you have children, your finances should be on the up and up, right? Now, um, next, relationships. By this time, you should be, and this is only my opinion, because I just think about, and maybe I'm an outlier, y'all. Maybe I'm an outlier because I feel like at 27, 26, 27, I was trying to figure out, especially if I had like a long-term boyfriend at the time, what's going on with this relationship? When are we getting married? Are we not getting married? If not, then we need to move on and go to the whatever we're gonna do next because I can't be wasting my time. Maybe that's because I'm an older millennial. I feel like we kind of had those type of attitudes, but the younger millennials, it's like when they get to their 30s, they still want to be in that play mode when it comes to relationships. Like I feel like by the time you're 30, you should be figuring out, okay, am I going to be in a long-term relationship? And that's okay too. Or am I going to get married? Like, and then if you do want to play, but you just got to know what comes with it. You see what I'm saying? So, I feel like by the time you're 30, especially if you have children, you got to figure out what your relationship status is going to be and be consistent with whatever it is because you have children, right? And I'm gonna get to that. At this time, it shouldn't be no more game plan. Like I said, if you're in a long-term relationship, then we know what it is, right? And to me, long-term relationship means it's a me and you. It ain't me, you, and Susie Q. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't need you to be, even though we're not going to get married, so I don't need nobody that's going to be out here messing with a whole bunch of people and then coming back to me because I got kids. You see what I'm saying? I feel like the mind frame is different when it comes to relationships when you are get to your 30s. Or it should be. Let me know what y'all think. Um, the next thing, having discernment, right? Listening to your gut a little bit more. Everything you realize that everything doesn't deserve a response. It just don't deserve a response. You can say a whole lot if you silent. If you just sit back and let people say what they're gonna say, do what they're gonna do, and don't say nothing, it's power in that. Everything that somebody does or says doesn't deserve a response. It's again the games that you used to play when you were in your 20s, all these friendship games, these relationship games, all of that is out the door when you are entering into your 30s because now you are grown, and you need to act as such, right? By the time you get to your 30s, as a woman who has children, life should be getting a little bit easier for you, right? You start to figure out how life really is. And really, honestly, life is really a game. You are playing a game. And you got to know how to maneuver in the game. But by the time you in your 30s, right, you get to those early 30s, life should become a little bit easier, especially if you have kids, right? You should be a little bit more organized. You should be a little bit more tactful, right? Again, knowing everything doesn't deserve a response, knowing how to respond. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot take it there every once in a while because sometimes people need to get checked. Y'all know in some of my lives, my videos, I'll be like, the St. Louis getting ready to come out. I'm gonna warn you, the St. Louis getting ready to come out because it's a few things that take me there, right? And one of those things is if you're talking about my kids, right? Because everybody know that's off limits. Like they don't have anything to do with what I'm doing, what I'm involved with. Leave them out of it. So if you take it there, then the St. Louis is gonna come out, right? But in your 30s, it's a time and a place. And I think for these women, this was neither the time or the place to be airing out what happened between y'all when y'all were friends. First of all, that's over and done with. I heard in one of those videos that this happened years ago, whatever they keep talking about. Why are you wasting energy on talking about what happened years ago? Now, again, like I said, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, you know how they say when you meet your match, or and things like that. Sometimes people need to be put in place so they know not to keep messing with you. And that goes for whoever in the situation, right? Because I'm looking at this basically outside of looking in. Remember, I haven't watched years and years of their videos. I've seen, now don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of YouTube drama babies. And when I say I don't understand how people put this stuff on the internet, especially if you have children. And again, I'm gonna get to that. Now, so life should be getting a little bit easier. You should now be able to own your stuff, right? You should be able in your 30s. Now it's time for you to start taking accountability for the things that you have done, for the things that you have said, right? You should have already, and I'm only saying this because of the culture that we're in now, right? I feel like in some ways now, talking about mental health and, just mental health in general, when you see it on social media, is almost like a trend, right? And it's a good trend because you do need to deal with your mental health. And so if you are in a young millennial, you should have already or started to deal with your trauma. Whatever happened to you in your childhood, right? Whatever happened to you or whatever you experienced in your early 20s, things like that, right? Anything that you are grieving, right? And grief doesn't have to be losing, it could be losing someone or something, but also grieving the life that you wanted to build maybe in your middle 20s, and now you're in your early 30s and you haven't gotten there yet. And now you see somebody else having that opportunity, right? So now you are grieving the life that you could have had when things were different, if your circumstances are different now. But that goes back into one of the 4 personality traits, being an envious person. Hope that makes sense. So you should have already, again, started or, to deal with the trauma that you had, right? Because if you don't deal with that trauma or whatever you experienced as a child or in your college years, your middle 20s, or whatever it is, again, you got to remember, you always got to keep in the back of your mind, you have children, right? So whatever trauma that you have not dealt with, you are going to inevitably project it on them, right? Now, another thing, and I got a lot of stuff here, y'all, because when I saw these women, I said they can't be in their 30s with this kind of mind frame. You should, in your 30s, you should start to know your worth. And this goes back to relationships, right? Not playing no games no more. You, at this point, you kind of know what you're looking for. You know what you want. You know what you are worth. You know what benefits you're bringing to the relationship, right? You have some type of standards. You have some type of standards, right? If you say, going back to the example with Janae and Tim, if you say, I got 3 questions that I ask somebody when I first meet them, and one of them is, do you have a felony? Have you ever been in jail? Whatever. That's one of the questions, right? And if the standard is that I don't mess with any men, right? Now, and again, right, I'll go back to that, but I don't mess with any men who have a felony, then let it be that. If you say, I don't really want, anybody to, or I don't want to particularly be with someone who already has children, then let it be that, right? I don't want to mess with anybody or get involved with anyone who has a record. Let it be that, right? So you know your worth at by this time when you get into your early 30s. You know what you're gonna stand for, what you're willing to take, and what you ain't willing to take. Because really, and nobody can say, oh, you should be in this type of relationship or that type of relationship. It's all in what you want to take. It's all in what you want to deal with. Now, me in particular, I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm not gonna deal with all that mess, right? Because it's stuff that come with that. Me who have kids, me who have a record, like you, I don't want no parts of that, right? So, but it's all in what you willing to deal with. If you willing to deal with somebody like that, go for it. But at least you know, right? You have an understanding with yourself that this is what's going to be, and you understand the consequences that are going to come with that. Let me know what y'all think. Now, another thing, y'all said, Ashley, why? Girl, this is a mess, honey. This is a mess. And I see clients like this all the time. We have these conversations, right? You understand that you need to be responsible with your mouth, right? Not everything doesn't need to be said. Everything doesn't deserve a response, but understanding that whatever I put out into the universe is going to come back to me. So if I'm hollering about, oh, I wish somebody this, or I hope somebody this, baby, it's finna come knocking at your door. Might not come tomorrow, but down the line, it's gonna come right back to that butt. Right? Right? You need to be responsible with your body. Some things are just sacred. You know, you had your little fun in your 20s, you was in college, you had your little fun, but baby, you knocking on 30 door, you in your early 30s, time out for that. It ain't no one night stands, honey. It ain't no maybe we used the condom, maybe we didn't. No. Because you know your worth. You're in your 30s and you have children. You are a woman who has children. So it's time out for that. You need to be responsible with your body, right? The next thing, you understand, even though sometimes it's not right, but it's human nature. And this is how some of these things, this is how society works. This is the culture that we live in, right? You understand that presentation matters. Because why? You never know who's watching, right? It could be any opportunity that you were looking for, an opportunity that you have been seeking for years, right? And this one day, this one evening, you present yourself out of what you wanted them to see for you to get this opportunity. That opportunity is out the window. So all the cussing, the talking about your vagina and who did what to it, what me and my friend did when we went here and went there, and who we met and what they did. Time out for that. You in your early 30s and you are a woman with children, right? And then you wonder why you are stuck where you are. You don't understand why some people, other people get opportunities, certain opportunities, and you don't, right? Now, it's good to be transparent, right? Because this is social media. People want the transparency, right? But you know that it's a time and a place again, and some things are just sacred, right? If I had a friend and we had a falling out, we're not friends anymore. And sometimes people who were friends, they don't even have to have a falling out. It could just be that you grew apart. When you get older, again, your early 30s, you want different things. Your life has taken a different path. One of your friends may have moved somewhere else or whatever, and you got busy with life and you just grew apart. However, when y'all get back in the same place, it's like old times. But if we did have a falling out, you will not be able to count on me to tell their business. Uh-uh. That just ain't how it work. It just ain't how it work. This is a prime example of reacting to your emotions and thinking emotionally instead of thinking logically before you say something. You let your emotions get in the way. So that tells me that a lot of them don't have high emotional intelligence. Because if you did, a whole lot of this stuff wouldn't be on the internet. It just wouldn't be on there. Um, Also, the next thing, when you know better, you do better, right? I have to also think that, especially too, when I see clients that are in this type of situation, right? Or if I see mothers where children have been taken away for certain things, they're in a pickle right now, right? They are having a big challenge as a mom. I have to also think that maybe they weren't taught certain things. Everybody grows up differently, right? And maybe their parents didn't teach them certain ways to act. Also, a big thing is that your parents never gave you that example, because it's one thing to tell you what you should be doing, but the parent needs to act accordingly, right? Because you are only going to do what they do. You ain't worried about what they're saying, because maybe that's going in one ear and out the other. You're going to do what they do. So all the cussing, all the in and out of the men, right? All the this how we treat our friends, all of that, that's what they're going to do. Let them get old enough. That's what they're going to do. And the more kids that you have, it's inevitable. It's going to be one out the bunch that ain't going to do right. That it is going to be at least one out that bunch that is not going to do right. And you're going to be like, well, why? What in the world is going on? Why would they do this? Why would they say that? Why? They looking at their parents. You have to remember that your circumstances that you grew up in don't define you. Like, you don't have to be what your circumstances were. And it seems like in these examples too, that these women, they have changed the game a little bit, because at the time they grew up, we didn't have social media like this, right? Because I don't think that they have, jobs outside of the home. They basically like stay-at-home moms, right? And so that's something totally different from the way that they grew up. But then what examples do they have of that, of how to act accordingly if you're in that type of role? You see what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? Like, what example do you have to say this is the way to act accordingly? And again, some people might argue and say, Ashley, you can't tell nobody how to act. It's no certain way to act or whatever. In our culture, in our society, it is. If you want to get certain places. Now, if you just okay in your little bubble, not following rules and stuff like that, and you want to be stuck in the same place for years and years and years and years and not growing, okay. But if you want to get to the next level, baby, you're going to have to follow some rules. And you're going to have to present yourself in a certain way that other people want to see you if you want those opportunities. That's just what it is, right? So what example did they have to say, okay, if you a stay-at-home mom, make sure you do this and that, or make sure this is done, make sure that is done. This is how you would go about doing these things, things like that. If you don't have the example, then you just going about willy-nilly. Now, a little bit, let me touch on a little bit what I said before about the kids. You have to understand when you're in your 30s, and again, if you have children, especially if you have teenagers, if you have stair steppers, right? Your kids are watching, and most importantly, they are learning. You have got to keep that in mind with everything you do. Because maybe sometimes you been sent them upstairs, or you been sent them in their room and think they sleep. Baby, they not sleep. They right at that door, ear hustling. Ear hustling. When you're on the phone and you think they're not listening because they interrupting you, or they keep asking you for someone you're on the phone, baby, they are ear hustling. And it may not be today that they're going to repeat what you said, but it might be next week. It might be when they're at school. It might be to the siblings. And you're going to be like, where they get that from? You. Because you've been up here acting a fool. You've been out here acting a fool to the camera. To the camera. Think about that. To the camera. To the camera. You're not even talking to the people on the phone. You're looking at a camera. Cussing, fussing. Y'all, you cannot make this stuff up. Also, you are showing them how to treat others, right? You're showing them how others should treat you, right? Especially if you have all these, men in and out of the house or whatever it might be, right? Right? This is how we treat our friends. This is how your friends should treat you. This is how you deal with problems. This is how you deal with challenges. This is how you resolve conflict. They are learning it from you. So when the kids come, when they teenagers, and they fighting in the way that you fight or the way that you fought, don't be surprised. You already know what it is. Now, let me talk about this. These are the caveats to what we are seeing, right? The caveat is this. I think because some people say, why are they, again, why are they doing this? Why are we even watching this mess? Because YouTube and social media is for connecting, right? Social media is for connecting. Social media is to network. But overall, social media is to entertain. Baby, YouTube is entertainment. It's not nothing, like for me, it's nothing to really be taking. Like you learn things and people educate you. Like, for example, my channel, it's partly to educate you about mental health, to empower people about mental health, to make sure mental health is not a taboo topic and things like that, right? And so I kind of take these examples and kind of incorporate them or relate them to different mental health topics or different things that I've seen within that field, right? So that we can understand, be educated, and empowered that this is normal, right? And we're able to overcome these things. But YouTube is entertainment. And sometimes a lot of people, from what I've seen, are putting on for YouTube, right? Because if you think about, all of them are creators. And if you think about what the creator's goal is, what is the creator's goal? The creator's goal is to either you doing YouTube as a hobby or either you doing YouTube as a career. Now, it don't seem like, based on the knowledge that I have about these women, YouTube is not really a career. Seems like YouTube was a hobby. Now it looks like maybe Strong Mommy Chrissy is trying to really solidify YouTube as a career. Maybe not even YouTube, just social media as a career. But the other ones, I don't really see, based on, it looks like the time that they have been on the platform. That, and if they are trying to turn it into a career, I'm not understanding or sure how they're trying to do that based on the videos that I have seen, right? So, but YouTube is entertainment, and people come here to be entertained, and that's why we watch. I mean, it's as simple as that. So when people say, "Oh, I'm so sick of them," like, it's entertainment, y'all. It's just entertainment. And it's kind of like if you sick of it and you don't like it, then don't watch. I mean, it's really as simple as that. Um, and also, this is another thing I thought about. Maybe they've been in the game so long, like they've been on YouTube so long, that they don't realize that they are oversharing. I was thinking it too. Maybe they don't realize that they're oversharing. And if they do realize it, I wonder what the benefit is of oversharing. Like, how is it benefiting them to overshare? And the only thing I could think about is because the information that you're sharing or oversharing is so shocking and so surprising to people that you know that people are going to watch. And if people watch, they watch, it turns into watch hours, honey. And you're going to get the view. That's the only thing that I could really think of why this information, especially after years, a lot of this information was shared. Um because it looks like it's outside of their normal content. Like, I don't know, like it seems like the content that they really want to solidify for their channel is like a a mommy vlog or a mommy channel where you cook, you show the kids going to school, a day in the life of a mom, a week in the life of a mom. But I don't really see much of that. Or if it is, these other videos are kind of sprinkled in. It seems like there would maybe be like a different channel for things like that. If you're gonna air somebody out, then you know what? This the day to air them out. Let me go on my other channel because I don't want the kids to be involved there, in this particular channel, because this is the business channel, honey. This is how we make our money. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I, provide for my kids. And then on the other channel is the mess. But I don't see that. It's like this is sprinkled in. So then it's like, well, what is the benefit? The only benefit is that you are getting the views. That's kind of how I see it. Another thing I thought about is the caveat is that maybe even though all this information is out there, maybe their life couldn't really be like this. Like, it's unbelievable at some point, especially because, again, when I found out they were in their 30s, I said they in their 30s. Girl, we don't act like that in our 30s. Girl, women in their 30s, I don't want to be harsh to any of them, or because it's hard being a mom. It really is. I can't imagine being a single mom. I really, really can't. I can't imagine not having my children when I had my children. You see what I'm saying? But women in their 30s, they don't, unless it's some kind of extenuating circumstance from what I've seen. I can only speak on what I've seen. Women in their 30s or older than that, they have their children taken away and stuff. They're on they may be on drugs, they may have lost their home, and trying to like fend for themselves, and somebody may have called, and now they're taking the kids and putting them with family for the night, or until they're able to get on their feet or something like that. But y'all, it's so many resources out here to where you shouldn't have to be in that situation where you are fending for yourself and trying to feed your kids. It's a pantry on every corner, baby. You can find a pantry. Matter of fact, let me just say it right now. Anybody who needs help with anything, food, lights, gas bill, regular bills, clothes, trying to find a therapist, trying to find a doctor, trying to find resources for your kids, trying to find resources as far as if you have a child that has special needs. And these could be free resources, right? Trying to find toy drives if your kids don't have toys, trying to find food for Thanksgiving to cook for your family, Christmas gifts, free books for your kids, anything you can think of, there is a resource. And all you got to do is pick up that cell phone that you want all day, looking at YouTube, looking at Instagram, looking at TikTok, dial 211. 211 is a national directory where when you call, they're going to pick up a ring. Hello? What can I help you with? I'm looking for, it's close to Thanksgiving and I'm looking for a pantry near my home. Okay, what's your zip code? Do. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 resources. Do you have a pen and paper? Yes. Okay. The first resource, they're going to give you 5 resources. They're going to give you the numbers to call. Now, sometimes a lot of agencies, they don't update the national directory, right? So when you call, they might say, oh, we just ran out of resources, or, we don't provide that resource anymore. However, let me give you this number, because people are still calling even though that they ran out of resources. So they have another resource for you. So in my opinion, nobody should be left or feel that they are left destitute. Okay? You call that number, you're going to get a resource. They're going to give you at least 3 numbers you could call. Whatever you need. Especially if you are a woman by yourself trying to care for your children, right? It's resources for that. People start agencies only for that population, single moms with kids. So nobody should be left destitute. That's an excuse. That would be an excuse. That would be, in my opinion, that would be someone who is lazy, right? And I'm not saying that, because sometimes I'm going to throw it, I'm going to always throw the mental health in here. Sometimes when you are struggling with your mental health, you don't even have the motivation to even call the numbers, right? But I will say, if you know that you get like that sometimes and you have kids, then you have to have some type of support system. The days that you feel like that, I can only imagine that you're not able to take care of your children in the proper way. I will only imagine that your kids are taking care of themselves at that point, right? If you are finding yourself in that place with a lack of motivation, not able to get out the bed, you're not showering, you're not bathing, those types of things, then first of all, you've got to get to your doctor to see if you need to be evaluated for medication for your mental health, right? If it's happening on a very frequent basis. I mean, everybody gets down at times. You had them days like, shoot, I ain't gonna lie, I'm like that today. I told my husband I'm irritated. I was like, I'm irritated this whole week. He know when I come and I walk past him, he best to get out the way, because I said I'm irritated. And so that means I don't feel like it, right? But I still have that motivation to push forward. People who are struggling, I mean, really struggling with their mental health, they don't have that oomph to move forward. So if you feel like you're like that the majority of the time, you have got to get you to your doctor and let them know what you are experiencing so they can evaluate you for medication. You need to get in some therapy, and you need a support system, whether that be your mom, your dad, your cousins, your aunts, uncles, to take the kids that day or something like that, so you can get yourself together. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not in that situation, right? But you said, dog, time's rough. I done lost my job. I didn't, and we ain't really got that much food. You better take your butt to that pantry. That's what pantries are for. That's what all these resources are for. Nobody should say, oh, we don't have anything to eat. That's why you take your butt to that pantry. You see what I'm saying? So then I was thinking, well, maybe their life really not like this. But Olivia that lost her children, I because what I see mostly on YouTube, like mommy vloggers and stuff, because baby, it's some mommy vloggers, baby, they use them kids for them views. I be like, oh my God, what are they doing? I would have expected to see her channel turn into, based on just other things I've seen on YouTube, that her channel would have turned into something like trying to get her children back, or the process of trying to do that. Because believe me, it's a lot of other moms that then lost their kids. I've worked with them. Plenty of them, baby, that then lost them kids, who lost the kids, got them back, and lost them again. Right? And I know for sure probably at least a handful of them watch that YouTube, and baby, they're gonna come across your channel and they're gonna say, okay, well, she did this and that, let me try this and that. You will be helping those moms in that process. But I have to kind of think that maybe her mental health is, she's so down about the situation right now that she's not able to do that. Like, she's not in a place to even do that. And that's why I'm saying on camera, she might not be showing it. And maybe that's why, because it don't seem like she really involved in this mess with Show Mommy Chrissy and My Jazzy Life. But she has inserted herself because it's a distraction, right? It's a distraction. You don't have your kids at home. You're at home by yourself or whatever. You know what I mean? You thinking about your kids. You wondering where they are. Stuff. What are they doing? Are they thinking about you? Things you used to do or whatever, and not having them there. Then you are trying to distract yourself. Right? It's almost like a defense mechanism. I'm gonna involve myself in this mess, so people can talk about me being in this mess, so they don't have to talk about why I don't have my children. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. Let's see. Okay, yep, I talked about that. They're in the game so long, just comfortable. Maybe they just comfortable with showing it all. They've been on YouTube this long. It's like, okay, this is what my channel is about. I'm gonna show it all. I don't have no shame. Girl, y'all better than me, baby. Y'all better than me. Because I have to say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Jazzy Life. But I saw that video when she was laying in the bed with her boyfriend and stuff. Girl, I would have never put that on the internet. I would have never put that. First of all, it's an intimate moment. You are laying in the bed. I don't think that people understand when you turn this camera on that it's not like a small city or where you live is only watching, or just the people that you know are watching. Now, understand that you have built an audience and they're like your family and things like that. They're like your friends. They know a lot about you because that's what you put out. But baby, I would have never put no intimate moment laying in the bed next to my cuddling. No, that ain't for everybody to see. But again, these are things, this is why it's important. And I'm not saying that these women don't, but this is why it's important that you got to be a mom or have had a mom to teach you these things. Because my mom told me you don't show everybody everything. My mom told me when you at home, sometimes you see these kids are walking, I would go into people's home. I would do in-home therapy before, when I first started in my profession. I would do in-home therapy. And it would be kids just running through the house with, no bottoms on, just a shirt. It's like not only when somebody comes to your house, but even if they don't come to your house, you're going to get up. If it's not a school day, you're going to get up. You're going to act like even though you're not getting ready to go nowhere, you're going to act like you're going somewhere. You're going to get up. You're going to brush your teeth, wash your face. You're going to put on some clothes. That means a shirt is a bottom. Like, you're going to get dressed. So, it's like you're not going around showing all of that. You cover yourself up, which means that when you with your boyfriend or your husband or whatever, that is like our intimate moments. You ain't showing everybody that. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't show it, but baby, to each their own, honey. That goes back to presentation matters. I don't see what I don't see if, but see, you don't know what the goals are. If the goal is to get sponsorships and to um make it on this YouTube thing as a career, you got to think what company would sponsor uh content that has been put up like that. I don't know who would. What would it would be? What, maybe like Adam and Eve or something? Because I was like, if they, because I would imagine if you get a sponsorship, they're going to look through your content, stuff like that. And when you say YouTube as a career, you got to look at it like it's a career. You're building a career like you would outside of YouTube, right? It's not anything overnight. In a regular career, it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to know what you're doing in a regular role, right? You got to kind of treat YouTube as the same thing. Like, it's going to take you about 3 to 5 years to really know the ins and outs, to look at everything, to know what to do, know what to put up, know what content to put out, things like that. Then after that, it's like, okay, I'm trying to get to the next level. I'm trying to get promoted, right? How do you do that? You got to start presenting yourself as such and putting intimate moments out there, cussing out your used to be friend, the friend cussing you out, y'all telling what you did, when you did it, where you did it. Oh no, them people, that's like your resume. They're gonna say, oh no, there's some drama right here. Now you might get some sponsorships, but it ain't gonna be the ones that you really, really wanted. Maybe it might be the ones that might pay you the little coin, but you really wanted the ones with the Bitcoin. You may not get the ones with the Bitcoin because of what your resume look like. You got to think about that. And in my opinion, when you got in your 30s, these are the things that start to play in your head. Okay, let me move a little bit different. Let me maneuver this thing a little bit differently. What else I have here? Now, I think I touched on everything. Okay. Oh, this is my last question. And this is probably only where I come from. Where they mama at? Where is the mama? Again, I don't care how old you are, baby. You could be 40 years old. I'll be 40. I will be 40, y'all. Real soon. And baby, let my mama see something like that on the net. Ring ring. Hello? Yeah, I saw your little YouTube video. Oh, you did, mama? Mm-hmm. Why you sitting up laying in the bed like that? Hmm? Why are you sitting up laying in the bed like that? Girl, my mama would never let that slide. Now I might have I'm grown, my prerogative, I might have kept it up, but I would have got that phone call. What are you showing these people? What is going on? No, take it down now. Where is the mama? Where are the mamas? I don't care how old you get. If you still have your mom, hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about. Your mom is going to check you. It's almost like, how sometimes maybe it's just me. When your mom is around or she sees something and she say, keep it up. Keep it up. And see what I do. Like, I feel like the moms are not. Now, I did hear Strong Mommy Chrissy one time say, oh, my mom, she called me. She said, why you not putting this up? That's like my mom. My mom would be calling me, baby, take it down. You should have put this one up instead. No, you choose this one instead. You're not, no. Because I didn't raise you like that, you don't show everybody everything, and they don't need to see all of that. They know you got a boyfriend. They know what you're sitting up doing, right? They already know y'all got a baby together, so you don't need to be showing them nothing else. Okay? So I'm like, where are they mamas? Let me see. Now, this is my last thing, and I'm gonna get up out of here because I've been on her too long. Now, I read comments or heard people asking like, they said that Strong Mommy Chrissy, she is they are you the other creators are using her name to get views and stuff like that, right? And it goes back to me saying that what are the when you think about it, that's what I was saying, like, are their lives really like this, or is this just kind of like a put on, right? Because what is the goal of a creator? The goal of a creator is to grow. And so if they feel like they got to use her name, they're going to use her name. But from what I see on YouTube, everybody do it. It's like the YouTube culture. If you know this, and it may not really get you a lot of views or anything like that, but that's what people do. They use the names of the other channels, to get their name out there. It's like a game, just like anything else, right? Um, and but then if you have especially too, if this was your friend, I would probably assume that they would do that. They would use each other's name, whatever. But now it's like you're not friends anymore. I wouldn't see, based on it looks like the animosity they have with each other, I wouldn't see them taking her name off of anything because they know it's going to bring them the views, just like with the drama, right? However, somebody said, why are they hanging on to her, right? Well, when you talk about growth and you bring in the mental health with it too, of struggling with your mental health or just being stuck in general, not knowing how to get to the next level, it's almost like if they see that they are getting like views from her or whatever by mentioning her name or by bringing her up in the drama, it's almost like the easy way out, right? Because maybe they don't have the work ethic. Maybe they just don't want to work hard. Maybe they feel like, oh well, if she got it, then I'm gonna just hang on to her and get it that way too. But they could go into one of the four personality categories, right? Put them where you think they should be. But um, if you don't have the work ethic, I feel like that's part of how you were raised, right? Because to me, that's something that you see. That's something that someone models to you of having a great work ethic and showing you as a kid as you grow up that I gotta work hard for everything that I get. Now you may meet people along the way that'll give you a little boost, but you still gotta put in the work on your own, right? Because you're your own person, right? You definitely can't put out the same content that Strong Mommy Chrissy put out. Not only her, but a whole bunch of other people, right? Because whatever she puts out, she puts it out of her with her own spin in her own way. So that's what you got to do too. You see what I'm saying? So instead of hanging on to it, I'm like, maybe they're hanging on to it because the work ethic is not there, or right now they just don't have the push to give themselves. So I was kind of thinking about that too. But let me know what y'all think. I just really wanted to come in and give my opinion on the drama, honey. This is I couldn't believe what I saw. I hope that you all found value in this video. Just wanted to stop by and give the lessons that we should be learning or have learned in our 30s as a woman with kids. And hopefully these women can get past everything that they are going through and get that push and that motivation that they need to grow and get to the next level, because they are young Black women and they deserve more than this information and all this stuff that they are putting out. I hope they understand that. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed thus far, and if you haven't, what are you waiting on? This channel is all about mental health. This is where you can get your questions answered. And I do give my commentary, and I sometimes react to things with celebrities, but just giving my commentary, it'll always be related to something on the mental health side and how we can kind of relate to it and to be able to understand mental health a little bit better. And so that I can educate and empower people to make sure mental health is not a taboo topic. So hit that subscribe button, like the live, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye.